Leo is best known for his famous Oreo Super Bowl tweet. That was 2016?
2013.
2013, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So old
Yeah.
now.
So if you don't know what we're talking about here, just Google blackout tweet, Super Bowl. It'll pull right up. You know what we're talking about. So he's famous for the Oreo Super Bowl blackout tweet, which earned a Guinness World Record for Facebook likes. He's an educator at Iowa State University and West Virginia University, and is a successful marketing leader known for pioneering in real-time marketing, hosting the popular business podcast called Build and Inspire, and leading large teams. So Leo attributes his success to being a trusted advisor before anything else, and his client portfolio includes brands such as Travelers Insurance, Trident, Cadbury, Mac, and more. So Leo combines his marketing and sales knowledge to help people in both fields, industry and academia, to reach their full potential by speaking around the world, mentoring, consulting, blogging, and podcasting. So when Leo presented his topic today, I thought it was fantastic. We've done 4. This is our 4th one, and we haven't touched on this topic. It's super interesting, and he's gonna share his ideas and tips on how he uses audio to enhance student engagement in his classes. So, Leo, without further ado, just a reminder, what's your Twitter hashtag? What's your Twitter URL?
More Leo.
Wow, our team will post that in the chat so we can be tweeting at you, trying to distract you as much as possible.
No, please, I'm More Leo on everything. You name it. Instagram, LinkedIn, More Leo, More Leo, More Leo, More Leo.
Awesome. Okay, so we will turn the time over to you, Leo.
Thank you, sir. Well, I mean, I'm super freaking happy to be here. I couldn't have been more honored to be asked to present, and this is a topic I am very deeply passionate about. So, first of all, thank you. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's jump in. So, guess what? Here's the thing. Students aren't hearing you. Really? They're just not. Well, maybe they're paying attention. So, they might be paying attention to what you're saying, what you're typing, all that kind of good stuff. But here, many aren't using these things, their ears. They're just not. But it's not their fault, though. In the world of EDU, the world of academia, really, even till today, what we do on social media, it's really text heavy. Things are changing, and especially in the world of EDU, it's just full of text. We got discussions, we got so many other things. Like, really, all this reading, blah, 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 blah. Sure, they're paying attention. Sure, it works, and it's been working. But why can't we do it better? And how do I know that we could actually do it better? I know 100% that we could do it better. As educators, this is how it all got started for me. I started teaching online. I started teaching at Iowa State University. I started teaching at West Virginia University. I was so freaking excited. I could teach from anywhere. I could teach the students everywhere. Think about it. When in history of humanity could we do such a thing? Never. Never. We are in the best time to be alive, to be educators, to be students, to be people connecting with one another. There has been no better time in the history of the world than today. Literally, I consider this the best time to be alive. I feel so fortunate to be able to be alive, be able to connect, be able to teach at this point in time in history. And it's only going to get better. Yesterday, you see me dancing with the pug. That's how excited I was. And I even use my pug in every single thing that I do. I jumped right into the discussions. I started typing back. I'm like, cool. Oh my gosh, this is what you want to do? This is what you could do in social media. I had nursing students. I had students from all around the world that I would get so excited to talk to them. I had office hours that I would go ahead and set up. Literally, they could call me. And I think I probably had the craziest office hours. I'm like, call me whenever you want, whenever, it's all good. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, sure, that's fine. Call me. I wanted to be there for the students. I saw this as the biggest, most important opportunity that I could have to really make an impact on their lives like educators did in my life. I made videos. So I made videos. So some of the videos I made, they were intro videos that I wanted to go ahead and present and share people who I was, what I did. And I thought the videos were so good. The only problem with the videos, really, I just had to do my hair. But when it came to grading papers, it felt cold. It felt, truthfully, it just felt inefficient. I mean, really, it made me sad. I was so excited. I just couldn't wait to connect with folks. But I realized I really didn't get a chance to know who these students were, what drove them. I only saw some responses online, and my responses back were in text. I knew I was making an impact, but I wanted to go in deeper. I wanted to connect with students. I believe, and I don't believe, I know feedback needs to be memorable. I've gotten feedback throughout my whole life. I still get feedback, and it needs to be memorable. And if we're not, as professors, as educators, as teachers, providing memorable feedback, what are we doing? So I'm sitting at my desk. As you can see, it's not this desk. And I noticed my podcasting equipment. Like, legit. How the heck did I miss it? It's right there. I blame my pug, though. So I was like, I'm going to start using this. They needed to hear me. Like, that's what it is. They needed to hear me. Like, the light bulb went off. They needed to be able to see and hear, like you're hearing me now. Like, that's what we needed to do. And I actually started my podcast so I could connect and so I could teach people. That's the reason my podcast equipment it started. So how did I not put two and two together? So these are the avocados that I grew up eating and that I still eat. These are the ones that are coming from the tree.
Jesus.
Look at my head for scale.
Yeah.
Head, but alrighty. I promise my podcast is not just about the size of my head or avocados. I swear. So I thought, why not use this? Like, I really need it to provide the assignment feedback. Like, this is what I needed. Also, I love that I quoted myself as I'm talking in the presentation. So this is what I needed to do. And why? Why is this important? Why is this important for me? Why is it important for you? Why is it important for everyone? Audio is ridiculously powerful. Audio is older than reading and writing. We started communicating using audio, using our voices before reading or writing even came close to coming to existence. Like, it's been around forever. Sounds, like, that's how animals communicate, right? Like, why not use this? Also, audio is passive. You could be doing anything right now. In fact, you don't even need to be seeing me right now. You could literally just be hearing me and hopefully still get the same impact and the same message and still be driving, still be cooking, so on and so on. Like I said, you could be driving, cooking, running, or in the bathroom, doing whatever this is, right? Like, audio is so passive. Also, audio provides subtext. Subtext allows you to hear my excitement, right? Or if I'm sad, or any other emotion that you have. We've all been in the world where we've gotten a text and been like, oh, that person's being a jerk. In reality, maybe they weren't being a jerk. Maybe it's just the way that you woke up that morning and you said, oh, they're being curt. They were just writing a quick text. We've all been there. But if you could hear me say, that was a great assignment. Hey, you know what? Actually, next time, go ahead and write a little bit more about this topic or about that topic. Or truthfully, still, till this day, I'd rather pick up the phone and have a call with my clients, students, boss, so on and so on. It's so much better than text. I don't know the emotion that they're receiving based on how they're feeling. We're in the golden age of audio, too. It's fantastic. We are in no better time than ever before. Podcasting. Podcasting is in 50% of all homes. That's over 60 million homes in the United States. These are massive numbers, and they're only continuing to grow. Voice assistants. Voice assistants are everywhere. We all have, and I'm not going to say her name because she'll go on. We have an Amazon product. We have Siri. We have Google Now. Cortana. That's the Microsoft one that really no one knows about. But people have these. People talk to them. There are young people, I'm talking about maybe even just 5 years old, that are so used to having voice assistants that are not used to having things not talking back to them. Can you imagine that? Like, These are folks that are growing up, kids that are growing up that just expect everything to be able to talk to them. There are kids now that swipe just random screens, expecting them to be interactive, right? Like I don't even think about swiping any screen, even barely my phone sometimes. Like this is what people are growing up with. These are the younger generations, and we need to adapt to them. And it helps us though too. Why not? And US voice digital assistants are growing. Like they are growing so much. They're going to be everywhere. They're going to be in stores. They're going to be at restaurants. You name it. You're going to see them everywhere. And at the end of the day, basically, it's essentially like having a friend next to you. And even some people, per research, consider them their friends. So in general, what were my takeaways from using audio in the classroom? Was it always good? It wasn't always good, right? There actually were some students that didn't like it, but overall, most students did like it. And I thought it did a really fantastic job. So I want to teach you, I want to share with you how you could get started, what you can do, and why it worked for me. And I always focus on the why, because I think if I could get you excited about the why, the how comes easier, and I'm always around to help with the how. So really, it was efficient. Like I said, it's passive. If I had the audio that I shared with the students, they could be reviewing the paper as they're listening. So they could actually say, and as I was saying, hey, I think that you should have added this point to paragraph 4. They could be looking at paragraph 4 and actually following along. Amazing. I mean, instead of them going back and forth and saying, wait, what did he say? What is this? No, they could easily see what was happening and actually change it in real time. I also graded faster, to be honest. I was able to get through papers so much faster. And it was efficient for me. And I've gotten questions about video. It was so much easier. I don't have to get ready to present for a video. I could just talk into a mic. And it's so much easier than video. Again, they don't even have to watch me. So the equipment, strive for the best. Do the best that you possibly can. Like right now, I'm actually talking to you with the microphone that I use for podcasting. And I'll show you the price. It's really not that expensive. Like you could get started and you could do some amazing work really, really, really inexpensively. The video that I'm talking to you on is a 1080p camera. So first I use, and I'll provide the links too as well, so you can download and see all this. And again, I'm always open on social media as More Leo for you to ask me anything that you have, like any support that you need. I use Simple Video Recorder on a Mac. It is completely free. I just pop it open, click record, and get started. I use this little handle that I don't have at this desk right now, but it was only $12. For $12, I could have a professionally looking adjustable mic arm. Like $12. There's a little cover for my mic. You could actually see it right over here. This is only $12. The mic itself, $109. And you could get them inexpensively on eBay. Or you don't even need to get this one in particular. There are $20, $30 mics that sound amazing. So much better than what you have in your current computer. Most importantly, I connected with students. They could hear me on an emotional level. And how can you could feel that you know that. You could hear my tone. It was easier for them to remember. I had students come and say, well, thank you for sharing it on audio, because then I really knew that you weren't being curt, or that you really cared about what you were saying to us. And I think that's priceless. And I know that's why we're here as educators. And there's lots more, right? There's so much more that we could do. And I've talked to many other professors and students, and they shared with me that we should be using audio messaging. I talked to one professor at West Virginia University, and she uses audio messaging. So as audio messaging, think about it as a walkie-talkie. Even nowadays, people use WhatsApp as almost a walkie-talkie setup. Like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What are we doing tonight? Cool. And you could do the same thing with students, and I know professors doing it, and they absolutely love it. The other thing that I've been thinking about is podcasts as lessons. I used to do the videos, as you saw earlier, and they worked really well. But again, like even from my side, I'd have to get ready, I'd have to get the camera, all that kind of good stuff. But I could just open up my audio really anywhere. I could be walking down the street as long as I have a good mic, I could be walking down the street and start talking. So it helps us, it helps the students. Audio is amazing. And truthfully, I don't even strive for the very best all the time. Like I don't edit it. I try to talk as fluently as I possibly can, but I'm not going back all the time and editing it unless there was like something crazy, like a car driving by or something. Like you could just record this audio and record full lessons on audio. And this is so much better than having click on this link to go ahead and read something, watch this other video on this other thing, read this chapter. You need to be a facilitator as a teacher. Put in the time, put in the work, and audio is the key. So thank you for having me. And like I said, I am always here. I know we have a Q&A, but even after this, I'm always here to support whatever you need. Alrighty. Did my screen share the whole time? Or was I just talking like a crazy person?
I think the screen worked.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, we figured that out. So let's jump into some questions. Leo, last time what we did is we kind of just fed off of the chat box here.
Cool.
So as questions come in, we'll try our best to hang on and make sure we address most of them, if not all of them. This is a touchy one, Leo, because I saw some commenting going on between Jane and Krista.
Sure.
They talked about some of those, some of the voice applications that we're referencing being like a cybersecurity issue threat.
Interesting.
Do you ever have within your university or with your students, does that ever come up, or like how do you address that?
So it hasn't come up. And when I do share the audio, I download the file, just like as I would download their papers or respond back in Word. And I upload it all through like the Blackboard system or Canvas. So really, you could think of my audio file as the same thing as a text file or really anything else. And as long as I'm uploading it and hosting it within the proper channels, how's that any different than a video that I create as an intro or as a paper that I upload with comments and things on it? In fact, sometimes it's more secure. As I know sometimes professors like to download pieces of paper and like mark it up and take pictures and stuff. I think that's even more insecure. That paper could be lost. That paper could be found by someone. Audio is just a file that I upload. Again, focusing on uploading to the proper channels. I'm not hosting it on YouTube. I'm not hosting it on SoundCloud, so on and so on.
Great. So what are some of the new audio applications you'll be using for the upcoming academic year? Are there resources you would recommend for us to check out?
Yeah, so Zencaster is a new app that I want to use. I used to use Zoom. So Zencaster is focused specifically on having podcasts over the internet, especially with guests. And I haven't started using it just yet, but one of the things that I love about it is the audio quality is very good. They do real-time audio production, and they do it afterwards too, and you can download it in any format that you want. So I actually plan on using that, even if I'm not using a guest, just recording it that way. And I think it's about $20 a month.
Okay. Have your audio clips ever been manipulated? You get some of those
like
any
a deep
sneak
fake?
peeks out there?
Like a deep fake? Yeah, no, but that'd be amazing. If a student did that, I'm like, you are amazing. How did you do that? Teach me how to do that. Like, I would love for that to happen. As long as I have an opportunity to be like that I didn't say that.
So, just some comment, some commentary here. I tried audio. So Scott says I tried audio instead of email feedback on some student project ideas, and it was so much easier to talk fluidly, and it didn't take as much time as writing a detailed email. So, as you know, Leo, like for you to just hop on and do a podcast and use your voice to convey that message, you can get out way more information quickly and easier, more efficient for you than sitting down and typing that out in a blog post form, right?
You got it. And plus in a blog post form, I also have to edit it. Oh, did I miss a period here? That there's a comma there. I don't have to worry about any of that. And as professors, we're used to talking. Like I understand it being hard, and I'm kind of like I speak, right? I like at events like this, so I'm like trained to speak. But as professors, we speak all day, every day. So now it's just instead of being in front of a classroom, we're in front of a microphone.
Great. So on this topic of audio and podcasts, just a quick shameless plug. We've got our expert sessions. Many of you are familiar with them. They're video lectures from industry experts teaching on topics that you would want to include in maybe a class presentation, but you don't have a local professional to come in and teach that. You just throw on one of our expert sessions. We actually just turned all of those into podcasts. So
Oh, wow.
if you go to any of your podcast player apps out there, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it might be, just type in Stu Kent Expert Session Podcast. They're also on all of our landing pages on the website, stuKent.com. You can assign those out in the form of audio. There's a link up top in the chat.
That's
Leo, sorry.
Oh, no, yeah. What made you guys decide to do that, like turn into podcasts? First of all, I love that idea, and I love that it's cool.
So we debated it for a while, but the biggest thing is a lot of our speakers are referring to a slide deck because it's a presentation. So that's kind of why we held off for so long. But we just kept getting so many folks saying, hey, the session is great. Some of them are 20 to 30 minutes. It'd be great if I could just listen to the audio because the content's great. And they do have access to the video if they needed to jump in and get to the video. And so we just decided, it was just feedback that we received on our end. And we're like, we already got the audio. We might as well just splice it out.
I love it.
And publish it. So are there any, do you teach audio, like podcasting? Like, do you do any assignments or projects around that topic within your class?
Not yet, but Karen, did she present already or she's about to present? She and I have been talking about doing something like that. So not yet. It is something that we're working on.
A question came in. If you have audio, so I'll read the question and maybe we can have a conversation around it. Isn't it, so Steve says, isn't it difficult to go back to your audio comments from weeks earlier? How do you archive them?
Got it. So generally they're all in Blackboard, like exactly where I would give the regular feedback. So I just go to the grading section, click through, and I read it again. So again, from the security issue, I delete them from my desktop and they only live there. So, and where it says commenting on Blackboard, there's an attachment button and I just put it there.
Great. Margaret says, Blackboard has a podcast app. Have you used it? I'm not familiar with it, but.
I have a love-hate relationship with Blackboard. So I decided to not even try it, to be honest, which is my fault. And I definitely should try and use it, at least to see if it works or not. But no, in full transparency, I said, forget it. Typing in Blackboard, sometimes I find it to be difficult. I can't even use my spell check. So I'm like, if I could circumvent it as much as I possibly can while still being secure and providing the best experience, I'm going to. But that's my fault. No, I'm going to give it a shot.
Great. Has anyone here used and maybe Leo, you've heard of this, Flipgrid? Once again, I'm not familiar with Flipgrid.
No.
They want to know if anyone here has used it, if they like it better. I'm assuming better than maybe the Blackboard podcasting app.
Maybe. Can they share what it is?
Yeah, maybe someone can drop a link in and in the chat you guys can check it out. What other questions do you have about audio in the classroom?
And I've heard, just so if people are comfortable, I've heard negative responses though too. People telling me it doesn't work, they don't like it. I'd love to hear those too.
Can you attach video feedback on Google Classroom? Do you know?
That I don't know. No, I'm only familiar with Blackboard and Canvas. But I'm going to add these. And if anything, I can make a blog post for you guys answering all these too.
Great. We have one person saying that our district encourages Flipgrid, and I'm just learning it. So maybe this is, I'm assuming district, maybe this is a high school
maybe
product.
Yeah.
If we can confirm that, that'd be great.
And like I said, what I could do is I'll review all these products and maybe do a blog post too for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm happy.
Any other questions? I'm looking in my sheet over here and see what we have. Leo, do you have any specific stories or instances, maybe teacher student evaluations, as far as, hey, this class was different because of audio? Like, is there anything you can share on those regards?
Yeah, certainly. So, like I mentioned, I had a nursing student, and she was always really, really busy. And she had like 3 different jobs. She had to go work with a doctor, then she'd have classes. And she actually lived, it was actually New Jersey. And she would ask, like, can you please give it to me more in audio? Like everything. Can we do the discussions in audio? It saved her so much time. And she said this was one of the easiest classes for her to do well in because she could just get in the car, drive to work, and still listen to my responses, still listen to what I had to say. And she said it made her so much more efficient and happier and could finish faster in school. So like stories like that, I think are so impactful. And as a professor, teacher, and I'm not a teacher by trade, right? Like I think that's why we're here, and that's the most important thing.
Great. So someone piped in and said Flipgrid equals Snapchat for classroom communication
I love it.
equals brilliant. So that's a pretty good explanation of Flipgrid.
Awesome.
So Leo, we have a couple more minutes.
Sure.
And I don't see questions. If they come in, great. But maybe what we can do is just take a couple minutes and share the behind the scenes, or how Jonah talked about how people like to feel like they're on the insider, in the insider club.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe share with us behind the scenes of just the whole Oreo blackout tweet, because like, how did you get that tweet to do what it did, and why did you guys do it? Was it just by chance?
Sure.
And then maybe if there's any case studies out around it, maybe we can share that, so educators and teachers here today can maybe take that and use it in their classroom.
This is such a great idea. So there's a couple of things that I say. First of all, it was a team effort. So it wasn't just me. There was a lot of people in that room. A lot of people worked on Oreo. I like to say it was 100 years in the making. Oreo is a 100-plus-year-old brand. So
when you say in the room, Super Bowl's on, you guys are watching it to see if there's any opportunities there, or what?
No, we were there for a totally different event campaign that no one ever talks about. So there were artists in a room in Washington. You would be able to Instagram a photo of anything, your dog, your car, etc., and they would sculpt it in cream. So that's why we were in that room. No one talks about this. No one knows about it. I don't even know if there's anything about it on the internet. We were in that room for that. But because we had other campaigns before that, we had something called a Daily Twist, which was 100 days of culture jacking. We had newsrooms. We had war rooms. Every single day we'd come in the morning and say, what are we going to post about? What's cool? What's happening? What's relevant for Oreo? Let's post. And we get it approved by the end of the day by the client, and we'd post. Before that, we even had, actually, which was the Guinness World Record. The Guinness World Record are 2 separate things. So the Guinness World Record happened 3 years before the blackout tweet. And we were teaching the lawyers and corporate communications people how to retweet. There are decks somewhere, presentations somewhere, that say, this is what a retweet is. And for months, we weren't allowed even to retweet. So the point of me sharing those backstories and those projects in the past are because we were so trusted by the brand managers, by the client. They knew that we loved the brand, that we knew it so well. Today, you could pretty much ask me anything about an Oreo cookie, and I know it. The first one was sold in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is right over there. It was baked in New York. We say Oreo cookies. We don't say Oreos because it degrades the trademark. Being so familiar and knowing the clients and the product so well enabled us to get trust from the brand managers. So we were in that room. We were ready to go. We were tweeting. We saw the lights went out. We all looked around. It literally was magic. We all looked around like, this is what we need to do. The brand manager was standing behind Lexi, who's on the Oreo team, who actually typed it all out. Then we looked around. All right, let's go, 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 go. Like, we just started creating. She saw it. She's like, post. And we posted.
This is the Super Bowl. Like,
this is the Super Bowl.
The most watched event during the year, like, worldwide, right?
Yep. And we hijacked it. Like,
hijacked the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I always like to share, though. I mean, to be honest, like, other brands beat us. We weren't the fastest. So I always like to say, like, being Oreo attributed to that, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone knows Oreo. It's like Coca-Cola. Like, you can go around the world and Oreo is known by everyone. So that definitely helped us.
Awesome.
And there was PR behind it, all that good. There's a couple of myths. People like to say there was like 100 people in that room. There's only about 10. There was no paid media behind it. That's another myth that people like to say. Yeah.
No paid. at all.
Nope, no paid. But we did have promote, like, we had people retweeting that we knew that had high followings, PR, influencers, things like that did it organically. But yeah, no paid media at all.
That's cool. Love hearing stories like that. So what?
Amazing.
Hey, we'll go to one last question, unless anyone else wants to chime in. This format that you have with bringing in audio, do you do it just for online classes, or do you have experience with traditional settings, or do you have any tips for a traditional setting?
Got it. So I've not done personally any traditional setting, really. I always stayed, I'd go in at the beginning and at the end in person, but everything else was online. I'd say create supplemental material in the classroom. Like after you're done teaching, share something that they could go ahead and listen to on the way home, or even before they come into class, something that you could get them prepped. So when you are teaching in person, it's only going to move faster and easier. It's going to be better, and they're probably more likely to do it than read a chapter in the book.
Great. We're getting a lot of feedback on they've heard the story. Sorry to go back to the last question, but they've heard the Oreo story, but they love seeing or hearing about the behind the scenes background here. Does this exist anywhere, Leo? Like, do you have a case study out, or is there anything that we direct people to, maybe in the post show notes when we publish this?
100%. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on my website, but like I said, we'll link now.
Yeah, we'll work with you and grab the link, and then what'd be awesome is there are some educators here who have already stated that they do use this example in class. So now maybe we've given them some more ammo to add to that class discussion. So
that's amazing.
Awesome. Okay. You know what? I think we are about out of time. So if there aren't any more questions or anything, we will transition into our transition period. We have Mary coming in a few minutes, but we've got a couple giveaways to announce. So, hey, Leo, thank you so much for opening our minds to maybe an alternative or new way of enhancing engagement, student engagement in the classroom.
Brother, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.